How's it going, Forex traders? You're truly Desmond Samuel. This is yet another episode of our Traders Edge series. Now, the markets have been very crazy lately. We had all kinds of moves, we had really deep pullbacks and all that. So you already know that, whenever I come online here on YouTube, what I simply do is to demystify every single thing. I denoise the market for you, and I break it down to the simplest possible terms that you can actually go ahead and then, work with for the rest of the week. I'm a swing trader with 4 years of experience, and what I simply do on YouTube is to come and document my entire series here. There's something important that I actually have in mind to talk to you guys about, and that is actually how to cope with conflict or crisis in the world like this. You see, many times we see a lot of videos on how to make money, how to trade the foreign exchange market, how to do this, how to do that, but then nobody really talks about how to cope, in terms of crisis like this as a forex trader in the financial market. So now the first thing is you need to understand that whenever there is tension globally, the markets tend to react to these things in a different way, in a sporadic way, and then one of the things that I've learned over time, especially after the COVID era, and having experienced some of the economic downtimes in the world, generally, I've come to realize that majority of what the people that actually end up making money in this whole process is that, first of all, they do what we call positioning. So now you need to understand that after every 10-year cycle, there always comes a key event that always turns there's always a wealth transfer from one particular hand to the next year, and it's always after like a 10-year cycle. There's always something happening that always affects the economy globally. All right, and the first one was actually COVID. So it's always like maybe 5 or 10-year cycle that these things always happen. So now you need to understand that one of the things that the big players always do is positioning. Now I'll not stand here and lie to you that these people did not really know or did not really see this coming. They actually saw it coming from the onset, but what they simply did was just diversification. So they simply diversified their assets. I'm talking about those that you can literally see it in the forex market here. Whenever you see that there's global tension, people tend to dump a particular asset class and then move their finances, their money into a different kind of market entirely. You see this happen over and over again. Look at what happened with the S&P 400 during COVID. Look at what happened during the tariff. Look at what happened during the Brexit. All these things here. So what they simply do is that they move their money from a particular asset class and into a different one that they perceive has a lot more stability and the potential to actually grow their money even within the crisis. All right. So I've seen this time and time again where people move their money out of maybe the dollar into the gold. Into gold, into the yen. These things happen over and over again. So how do you actually capitalize on this as a trader? Number one, you need to understand where the world is moving into. You need to think protection first, because primarily what the wealthy people do in times like this is they think of how to protect themselves. Do you understand? So for you as a trader, be it day trader, swing trader, whatever kind of trader that you are, primarily your first part of call should be how do you protect your earnings? Now in times like this, what you simply do is, one, identify where your money is and then move it into what could be stable long term. So this could be maybe the indices. Now for traders, talking about diversification, now I needed to see something very important on this Btcdana broker. By the way, the link is in the pinned comment, so check it out. And you also get a deposit bonus once you use my link. All right, so now if you look closely on Btcdana, there is actually something called live stream. There's even something called savings account. I mean, in a period like this where there is economic crisis and all that, you could literally use the savings account to save your funds long term. So this is exactly what people do not really understand, is that, see this. So this has an annualized 20% yield. So say for instance you maybe have $100,000 and you want to save maybe let's say all of it, so you can actually get 20% annually. So that's a passive $20,000 coming into your account like that. And you can see every single thing here. All right, but my actual interest is this live stream, guys. Look at this live stream. So one of the reasons as to why I strongly recommend the Btcdana broker is, as you can see, they have live stream here scheduled for every single day of the month. This is amazing. All right, so where this actually comes in handy for you is that you can actually come on here. So once you watch my weekly forex focus on the weekend, you can actually come on the Btcdana broker and then look at any live session that has been scheduled. So this is actually, you can even watch it on YouTube. So say you want to go on YouTube and then watch this. So this is an embedded session in the broker that actually allows you to watch the live sessions that have been scheduled here. So you can, and this is look at this now. So this is another live session that was actually hosted. I think this one was hosted on the 11th. Okay, so this is it. Yeah, and this is where they actually come to break down the chart for you daily. All right, so you can actually pair this with my weekly forex forecast. So once you see my directional bias, you can actually come and then compare and contrast my trade calls on this live session as well. This is very important for those of you guys who actually love to trade day trading. This is actually where it comes, and then you can actually play games with this is amazing. All right, so you can actually play games with other people as well. All right, so you can actually participate in predictions, in games, win prizes and all that. Okay, so let's see another one. So let's play this live session. Let's see. Okay, so this one is unavailable at the moment. So now, by the way, to actually access this, you need to have strong data connection. You need to have very solid data connection on this guy. All right, so this was the one that I just had recently, and quite frankly, this is where you can always come and replay these live sessions across the week. Pick any pair. So this is this one. Yeah, so this is how to trade and analyze the market like a pro for free. They come and post actual trades here for you, okay, and they allow you see these things for free. So they actually give you their own strategy. So like I said, you can compare and contrast my own weekly forex forecast breakdowns, and then come on here for daily calls like this. So once again, the link to this is in the pin comment like so, and I'll be walking you guys through how to actually capitalize on this. This is actually very easy to do. Now your trader here has 6,732 followers. She has 3,998 likes, 3,298 likes. She has 377 shares. She has 71 sessions, and she has this is 132,002 watches. This is she has a lot more followers than me that even has a YouTube channel. Amazing. All right, so check it out. Okay, so it is actually free. Okay, free of charge. You can actually check out all our posts here. You can see our profile here. So these are actual skilled traders, you feel me? So once again, the link is in the pin comment, so check it out. And guys, a lot of my trades will be taken on the Btcdana, and you want to see part of my signals as well, check out my free Telegram community. It brings you straight in there where I actually send my trade calls. You can actually go and then capitalize on these trades like so. All right, so let's get back to the video of the day. And this is exactly where you see where the indices, the stock market actually wins over and over again. Look at the S&P 500, regardless of what happens in the world. Yeah, the S&P it just tends to keep going bullish. Look at gold. Yeah, we haven't really seen a bearish trend on gold. So these assets always exemplify a set of maybe a kind of like stability, because people believe more in these hard assets. Okay, already there is always a bullish sentiment with the stock market. People generally believe that the only way to grow their money is to dump their money into the stock market, and that already gives it the bullish sentiment over time. I mean, look at the S&P, Nasdaq. These pairs keep on giving us a series of high highs and high lows every single period. Maybe every 5 months, every 6 months, every year. You can see that. Look at the S&P now. Yeah, last year March during the tariff, we have had a very significant pullback, but then look at where we are 1 year after a new high. All right, so it is exactly how people capitalize on this. Okay, so you need to understand that whenever things like this happen in the world, look at how the markets react. Again, do not panic. Okay, we are traders. Yes, look at how the market reacts to it, and you always tend to see that where the market always goes to, or where the conflict always drives the market to, at key technical areas. Yeah, key technical areas that actually give you the chance to enter into the trade. So this is what we call wealth transfer. Okay, because it gives it gives people a level ground. Okay, so it gives people another opportunity to get into the wealth vehicle. Do you understand? So this is exactly what we call wealth transfer. It doesn't necessarily mean money is leaving the rich to the poor. It just means that the landscape is now leveled, so people get the same kind of chance that the wealthy got maybe 5 years or a year or 2 years or 3, 5, 10 years ago. All right? So that's exactly what wealth transfer means. Yeah, people just simply get another chance to hop on the wealth vehicle. Okay, it doesn't mean that money is leaving the wealthy to the poor or anything of such. It just simply means that the landscape or the playing ground becomes leveled, and people actually get equal chance, equal time, okay, to actually get into the wealth vehicle, and then look at what they can make over time. Now, and if you study the market in this period, you can see that people are actually starting to dump the dollar and then move into other assets like gold, like because they perceive has real value. Looking at going long on the pairs versus the dollar. I mean, if you have the GPUSD, the euro dollar, as a trader, maybe a day trader, okay, you might want to start considering going long on these pairs like GPUSD buy, euro dollar buy. Okay, So what you simply do is like take your money from the dollar and then you put it into an asset that is, you know, paired with the dollar that you perceive that is going to have more value than the dollar. So that way you actually protect. So it's called hedging against the risk. Okay, so you actually protect yourself from actually losing money as the dollar actually loses value. Take for instance now naira and dollar. Okay, you can see that, you know, the naira keeps on losing value over and over again. So what people simply do is that they move their, you know, money, bulk of it, into a stable, you know, what they perceive to be a stable, you know, currency, maybe like the yen, or maybe like the dollar, or maybe cryptocurrency like USDT, stable coins, and then peg it, you know, to the value of the dollar, so that regardless of what happens to naira, you know, their funds are safe. Do you understand? So this is exactly what you do as a day trader or as a swing trader. What you simply do is come to the foreign exchange market like so, and then come and then look at the pairs versus the dollar. Okay, compare and contrast which one, you know, may or seems to be having more strength than the dollar. You simply, you know, buy that pair versus the dollar. I give you an instance now, the maybe USD, maybe euro USD. Okay, so you can perceive that due to the global tension that dollar is actually weakening. What you simply do is you start looking for buying opportunities. So that's exactly how it works here. Whenever currency like this come, global tension rates come, what it simply does, apart from drive volatility into the market, it makes the playing ground level so that you and I can have an equal chance, you know, at hopping on the wealth vehicle that we also entered, you know, ever since. And you can clearly see this happen. Okay, look at the S&P, look at the Nasdaq, look at gold, look at, you know, dollar. These things are actually there for you to actually capitalize. So you have to do your own due diligence and find the asset that has the potential to actually grow your wealth and protect you in the long run. That's exactly what people are doing at this point. Okay, of course it doesn't change the overall trajectory, but medium term, how to protect your capital, like as a day trader or a swing trader, whatever kind of trader scalper you are, simply look at, you know, what pair seems to be stronger than this other pair, and then actually put your money in there. Is a bet. Okay, is the best this versus this. You put your money here because you assume or you perceive that this is going to have more value than this other pair. That is exactly what we do as traders in times like this. All right, now secondly, you must know when to leave. Okay, so now one of the things about, you know, traders is that they don't know when the market has peaked or bottomed. This is again, look at the S&P 500. Yeah, now we actually got to a region where we actually, you know, started to give series of, you know, equal highs and equal lows. Anytime you see the market come and give you a cap, or maybe it's struggling to make a new high, best believe that that market has most likely reached its tipping point and is about to come back for another opportunity for others to get on that train and then get to make money, you know, in the long run. I give you again exact same example. S&P 500 last year 2025 March, there was a deep pullback due to the tariff. Okay, very deep pullback, but that actually gave us a chance to get into, you know, the wealth vehicle and make money. And then look at S&P 500 today. It went from 4,300 basis points to over 7,000 or maybe even 6,500 basis points. Okay, in a year. Look at the trajectory. Okay, so that's exactly what happens. Do you understand? But then again, not many people knew where to stop, you know, as we long the S&P 500, and this is exactly where I come in. Okay, so this is exactly where we as technical analysts come in. Now, once again, there is a link to my Telegram community that brings you straight to my channel where I post, you know, free breakdowns of these major pairs like this. And we don't only make money daily or weekly, we actually teach you how to grow your wealth and protect your capital long term. Okay, now secondly, the issue of diversification. Now, your biggest asset is variety, you know, your ability to diversify your risk across all market class. Okay, so that regardless of the economic downtime, you're not overly exposed to this, you know, threat that comes with this conflict. I give you another example. Now, take for instance, you have a portfolio of real estate, you have a portfolio of stocks, bonds, yields, you know, you have, you know, all kinds of things in the cryptocurrency. You see, okay, earlier, maybe towards the end of last year, yeah, we saw the BTC dip significantly. Okay, it hit 100k all the way, it dumped all the way to 70k, 75k, 65k. All right, now if your portfolio was only full of BTC or Bitcoin, I bet you would have been in a significant loss. But then again, if you had real estate, if you had stock, okay, you can see that also protects, you know, your portfolio, so that whatever happens in the market, you're not overly affected in a way. Because when a particular asset class is suffering, there's another one, you know, covering. There's an overlap. Okay, so you don't really tend to feel the effect that much. So these are the three principles here. Number one, always know where the world is moving into. Okay, where is the money moving into? Okay, that's one thing you need to identify. Now, number two, you need to know when to stop. Okay, you need to know where to take your profits. Okay, you need to have a take profit for every asset class in your portfolio. You must have a target, long term, maybe medium term, maybe short term. You must have a target, must be there, so that it gives you, a mental, price point to actually, take out your money and then go look for other things to invest in. And then number 3, diversification. Okay, so those are the 3 principles. All right, traders. So I'll be again over the weekend to talk you guys, through technical analysis of the market. But for now, trade safe, apply proper risk management across whatever thing you're doing, and then also check out the link in my pin comment. It brings you straight to my Telegram community, and I'll see you guys next time. For now, peace out.